is that the way you generally strike your iron shots, which is hitting the ground before the golf ball. In this week's golf lesson, I'm going to help you understand how your grip can be causing you to hit turf before the ball, take those big chunks out of the grass where you don't want to, and only hit your golf ball 30% of the distance you intend to. And yes, you heard me right. The grip, the way you hold the club, can be the reason why you're fat in your golf shots. So if you're somebody who generally struggles to strike the ball, maybe you're hitting the floor first, maybe you're even thinning it, this lesson is going to be for you. So first of all, what's a fat shot? A fat shot is when we hit the floor first, and ultimately it's because the bottom of our arc is in the wrong place. So really important for any golf lesson to understand what the problem is before we start to try and fix it. So let's just get an idea for how our golf club, I should say, moves around our body. And if we imagine our golf club swinging on this circle, so sort of double the size of this hula hoop, and that would be my golf club swinging around my body on an arc that you see down the line this way. So the club's always going to be on an arc, and then it's going to swing in this big circle around us. And as every circle does, there is a bottom section to this. So let's call this section here, where I've got this little bit of colour, we're going to call that the bottom of your swing arc. And where the bottom of that swing arc is very important as to how we strike the golf ball. And ultimately, if you are catching the golf ball heavy, that means that the bottom of your swing arc is happening before contact with the ball. So option one, your golf club would come down, strike the floor first, you would take that chunk of grass before the golf ball, and the ball wouldn't travel very far. Or option two, your club would stay just above the ground as it gets to the bottom of the arc, and as it's on its way up, you're going to get the leading edge of the club hitting the equator of the ball, which we call a thin shot. So we now understand that we've got to manage where the bottom of this arc is. And back to what I said before, your grip can be the problem for that. So what is the grip responsible for in our golf swing? Well, it's responsible for controlling the direction of this club face, therefore being responsible for the direction that your golf ball is going to go. And then your grip also has a big influence over how your hands can hinge and how your hands can release through impact. And the way we hold the club will have a huge effect on that. So let's just take a look at what I see most of the time. Is I'll see people holding the golf club in the palm of their hands like this. So you see that club running through the palm. And what that will now do is massively limit how much I can hinge my wrist. And quite often what I will see is because it's in the palm, then the elbow starts to bend and we start to create too many levers and there's too many angles going on to try and get a consistent strike back at the golf ball. And I want you to just go and try this. I want you to just grab the golf club in the palm of your hand and just try to hinge your wrist as much as you can, and you'll start to feel that your elbow wants to bend quite quickly. And what I want you to do instead is go and hold this golf club more in the fingers. So you can see there that I'm letting that golf club run from the bottom of my little finger into the middle of my upper finger there, and then that's going to allow me to just wrap the fingers around and then place the hand on top. And now as I try to hinge, look at all that extra movement I create, as opposed to when I move it back to the palm of my hand and I get stuck immediately. So think about what that does in your golf swing, and going and linking this back to where the bottom of your arc is going to be. I'm going to hold this now in the palm of my hand. I'm going to swing to the top of my swing, and then as soon as I start to swing down, look at that angle get lost immediately. Now, when that angle gets lost, the golf club head gets away from me, extends, and the bottom of my arc is now before the golf ball, and you've got me kind of leaning back a little bit to try and rescue things because I can't hinge and I can't release. Okay, so we've got to make sure that we have the ability to hold that angle. We've got to make sure that we've got the ability, first of all, to create the angle, and then as I start to move, you can see now that I am maintaining this angle a little bit later on in the swing. So let's go into a couple of drills on how we can help you improve the strike on the ball and how we can ensure that you're not going to be catching the floor too far behind the golf ball. Okay, and that's where this yoga block is going to come in really handy. But first of all, let's make sure you get hold of the club properly and in your fingers. So we've already demonstrated that we want that golf club to run through the fingers, but a really easy way to make this happen is just stand your golf club out in front of you with the toe of the club down, and the leading edge is now towards target, or the face of the club is now pointing straight out in front of me. And I just want you to reach that arm stretched out and just hold the golf club in your fingers and place the club on the front. And as you then come back to setup, you should have a square club face, and you will feel that that club is in your fingers. So we'll go through that one more time. Just put the club out in front of you. Naturally, to hold it, you should grab into your fingers. We bring it back, and it's now nice and square, and the club is sitting down there. Now, a really good test I like to ask all of my golf lessons to do is just sort of hinge and drop the weight of the golf club, so we lose the angle. And as you drop that, you should really feel that most of the pressure comes in these two bottom fingers to hold that golf club, because the butt of the club will get trapped between this heel pad and in between those two fingers. That's what you will use to stop gravity taking that club down. If at any point you feel that you're squeezing between your thumb and index finger, that's probably because you're holding the club in your palm, and it's the pad of the thumb and the index finger that's stopping that falling. So we will go club ahead of us, grip in the fingers, hold in front, and we just want to hinge and drop, and you will feel that that little finger is the main point of contact and the main pressure keeping control of that golf club. And then that's where this yoga block comes in. So you can see we've got it sort of ramped down, there's a flat back there, and this is quite high, but that's going to give us a good bit of feedback for where our golf club is moving. So for this occasion, I'm going to hold the club in the palm of my hand, and we're going to demonstrate what we spoke about before. And I'm struggling to create too much of an angle at my hands. So then as I start to swing down, you can see that that angle is starting to decrease. So we're starting to flatten out. It's now a straight line. And I will start to come down to impact a little bit too shallow. The bottom of the arc will be too early, and I'll be hitting the back of this block. And what I want you to do instead, really slowly, and again, I'll say to you most of the time, do this using a mirror or film yourself doing it. And what I want you to do instead is, once we've got that grip into the fingers, we'll then make a backswing, and you'll see that I can create 90 degrees worth of hinge. And then as you shift your weight across into your left leg, you can see as I maintain that angle, this golf club is now clear of striking that purple block. Okay, I haven't released the angle back here, and I'm going to hit the back of the purple block. I have maintained the angle, I've shifted my weight, and now I'm striking the floor after the golf ball. And I want you to do this slowly a lot of times before you feel comfortable in hitting golf shots. Grip in the fingers, create 90 degrees of hinge, shift that weight to the left, and then release the club head into the floor. And once you feel comfortable, we're good to hit some golf shots. And if I can do exactly what we just demonstrated slowly, then there should be no problem getting that golf ball to fly with a good strike, bottoming out, bottom of the arc after the golf ball, and there is absolutely no risk of contact with the back of this block while I'm releasing those angles. And there you are, there's your lesson on how your golf grip can cause you to misstrike the golf ball. If you found today's lesson beneficial, please do like and subscribe to the channel. And then below that, there's also some information on how you can book lessons with me down at Trafford Golf Centre or see my online packages. I will see you in the next lesson.